us all that story of when you and Tim Henman
Oh,
was trapped in an elevator for 12 hours.
Don't get me started. Problem with Tim Henman is, right, I said to him, this is new guy called Andy Murray. Now, Andy Murray at the time, he's like 50 now. Andy Murray was about 12. And Tim Henman was about 40. Something like that, 39, 40. And I said, hey, Timmy, get over here. And he said, what do you want, Gary Ball? Can I get you a drink? And I said, no, Tim, no. Not with other people around, not with like Anna Korakova and, you know, all the other really nice people. And John Mackey, another one who swears. They were all there. And I said, Tim, don't show yourself up. I said, Tim, pretend that I'm just a normal person. And problem with Tim Henman, he wanted to please. He was keen because he was a real big fan of mine because he knew who Gary Ball was. But I said, no, just keep calm. So anyway, so you're on about the lift, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll skip to that. I'll skip to the lift because there's a big thing about me and Tim Henman, and about Henman Hill, Murray Hill. Murray Mountain, really. But when I introduced him to Murray, he wasn't pleased because Tim Henman never really won anything. I mean, he won the women's double, but one Tim Henman equaling two women. You can buy into that, can't you? You can accept that. But Steffi Graf did. Steffi Graf said to me, if Tim wants to pretend he's two women, we're all going to pretend. We're all going to go on Twitter and say, yes, Tim Henman is two women. He's not even in the mixed doubles. He's in the women's doubles. It's if Steffi Graf says something, I really respect Steffi Graf, and even a normal Graf. If a Graf says something, it's like, Tories have won the election. If a Graf says it, I'm going to believe it. So Steffi Graf says something, I believe Steffi Graf, and that's the end of it. Steffi Graf says. So anyway, Steffi Graf says Tim Henman's two women. That's Tim Henman.
What happened in the elevator shaft?
Well, the thing is, when you get in an elevator with Tim Henman, right, no matter how big or small that elevator is, before the door's shut, you are willing some other fucker to get in that lift. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now, Michael, when you're in that lift on your own with Tim Henman, you want somebody else to get in. Because as soon as those doors shut, that bastard's going to fart. And as soon as he farts, because when somebody has done underarm and overarm for like 20 years as a career, their bowels are looser than, I don't know, Eric Cartman's mouth. They are, and that time that Michael's on about that I've prior mentioned, those elevator doors slow, it was like time stopped. It was like, when you're in Japan and it's like the land of the rising sun. Well, the sun wasn't fucking rising, the sun was falling. The sun fell so quickly when those elevator doors shut. I could actually see oxygen for the first and only time I've ever seen. I could see oxygen leaving. I saw oxygen. Oxygen thought, right, I'm going to be turned into fart now. So I'm going to escape out of this small box. I'm going to disappear and get out of this place because Tim Henman's going to fart. But he didn't. He didn't fart. He held it in. And that's when
you were in there for 12 hours, weren't you?
12 and a half. It was nearly 30. It was 12 hours and 31 minutes. That was into the 13th hour for me. But the first thing he did when we got out was go to the toilet. And he would... Now, whenever somebody goes into the toilet, the first thing I do is go on my Casio watch and it's got like a stopwatch function. It's true. I'm not even joking. I don't know why you're laughing. I go on my Casio stopwatch, my FW21 or whatever the watch is called, and I calculate how long they're in that toilet for. And if they're in for more than 2 minutes, they're not sitting down for, a shaky wee wee, where they, like, I don't want to wee along the sides. They are having something else. 30 seconds to a minute it takes for like a urinal wee wee. Sit down wee wee can be up to 2 to 3 minutes if you're playing on your Tamagotchi or your smartphone or whatever. If they're in for more than 3 minutes, 3 to 6 minutes or longer, 10 to 12 minutes, that is bad news, especially if someone's been in the lift for 12 and a half hours or 12 hours and 31 minutes. If they're in that lift for 12 hours and 31 minutes and they haven't farted, which I was very surprised at for Tim Henman, those drains need to be seen to. You need to get Dynarod out. You need to insure your business prior for drain blockage. Because Dynarod, they're good, but they're expensive. So if you're prior insured, and you know that you may have Tim Henman stuck in a lift, and if he's holding his farts in through politeness, because I had warned him, but to be honest, I wish he had farted now in that lift.
Yeah, because it cost the company millions and billions in drain cleaning in the long run.
It was. I'm not going to lie now, because I'm not one to lie, but sometimes I like to sugarcoat things because people do get upset at the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be deadly honest with you now. People lost their jobs. There are people out there with children, right? You've got children.
Mm-hmm.
I might have after the sperm donation it was sold off to Eastern Europe. There could be people, there could be in Romania people, little Gary Bulls running around, but that's a different story. Or Tasmania, I don't know. No, it's not. Tasmania?
Yeah, Tasmania.
Yeah, Tasmania's in Eastern Europe. Or Transylvania, any of those places.
One of those places, yeah.
But I can't remember what I was saying. Was it about Tim Henman, was it?
People losing their jobs.
People losing their jobs. People lost their jobs.
Due to him being on the
Now, I always say, it's not if you get stuck in a lift, it's when. When you get stuck in a lift, it might be with Maria Sharapova, God willing, you lucky devils. It might be with Anna Kournikova. It might be with Tim Henman. It might be with Boris Becker. It might even be with Ronnie O'Sullivan, the snooker player. You could get stuck in a lift with any of those sports people. There's gonna be. You need to say to them, right, no matter how long we're in here for, you need to fart. You need to get it out. Don't hold it in. Because as soon as those doors open and they rescue us, you're going to have to go to the toilet. That's the first thing you do when you've been stuck in a lift. You go to the toilet. And if you go to the toilet, you could be putting people out of their jobs by having a job. Having a post-trapped in a lift job could put people with families out of their jobs. That bastard's gonna fart.